Many people love the ideal of being married, but don't want to go through the hardship and the challenges. When I couldn't wipe myself, when I couldn't talk for myself, when I couldn't advocate for myself, when I couldn't fight for myself, my husband did all those things for me. If you don't know if the person you're with will do that for you, he is not the one. So he actually took a picture of me when I was sedated with all these tubes, and I just started crying because I had no idea how severe it really was. It was definitely a life or death situation, and to hear everything that my husband went through and to hear everything that he did for me. It's easy to love when everything's hunky-dory. It's easy to love when everything is going fine, but when your vows are tested, when sickness and health, until death do you part, when it's tested, when better or for worse, when that gets tested, you're going to find out exactly what type of love that person has for you. And I was telling Vito, I kept telling him, thank you so much, thank you so much. And he was like, babe, you ain't gotta thank me. You know, that's what I'm supposed to do as a husband. I said, no, but some husbands don't stick it out. Some husbands leave. And when I went to get my hair done, my loctician told me one of her clients' husbands left her while she was in the hospital. What type of love the person that you are married to has for you? Many people love the ideal of being married, but don't want to go through the hardship and the challenges. When I couldn't wipe myself, when I couldn't talk for myself, when I couldn't advocate for myself, when I couldn't fight for myself, my husband did all those things for me. If you don't know if the person you're with will do that for you, he is not the one. He is not the one. Let him go. Because again, the vows at that moment was tested. But when I got out and I heard how my husband advocated for me, how he fought for me, how he got me off that medicine that was driving me insane, I was like, my baby loved me. I see him differently now. I mean, our marriage have gotten stronger from this situation. Listen, please, if you don't hear anything I say, please hear this. It is not about a wedding. It is not about bridesmaids and groomsmen. It is not about the best decorations and flowers. It is about the marriage. If you or your spouse isn't committed to each other in the bad times, when a man can leave his wife when she's at her lowest of lows.
That's evil, man. I'm sorry, that's evil.
Y'all have no idea to know that I have a man that stayed beside me, even when he didn't know I was going to be here. Even when I gained weight, I was big as a house. I didn't have my mobility. I couldn't hardly walk. I couldn't talk. I couldn't think for myself. I didn't know where I was. And this man stood by me every step of the way. That's love. If a man truly loves you, that's what he would do for you. He would not walk out on you. He would not say, this is not what I signed up for. Because that's exactly what that guy said to his wife. This is not what I signed up for. Yes, you did. When you said your vows, for better or for worse, through sickness and in health, till death do us part. Those are vows that we take seriously. But so many marriages don't. So many relationships. If you're dating someone and you get sick and he's not there, he's already telling you who he is. If someone shows you who they are, believe them. Believe them. They are ready to bail on you. They're ready to quit on you. They're ready to leave you. They're ready to cheat on you. I couldn't make love to my husband. He was loyal to me. He waited for me. Because when you're sick and you're in the bed and you're hospitalized, there's things that you can't do. Will your man be there for you? These are the questions you have to ask, or you will find out exactly what type of love that person has for you. Is it fake? Is it real? I know this is real. When you cannot talk for yourself, that's scary. The trauma that my body went through, that's scary in and of itself. And to have the one that's supposed to love you walk out on you during that time, I can't imagine not having someone advocate for me. I would have been probably dead today. literally dead, because I would have still probably been on the medicines that was driving me crazy. I couldn't talk for myself, so I couldn't tell the doctors to get me off of it. So these are the things that you really have to ask yourself. Is he committed to you? When God connects two people, this is what you get. But when the flesh connects the flesh will leave you.
Absolutely.
Because flesh births flesh and spirit births spirit.
Yeah.
I could not imagine being with somebody else that God did not connect me with, going through what I went through. There's no way I could have done that. And to go through all this, I give nobody but God the glory for not only being there for me, but giving me the man that will be there for me, to speak for me, to fight for me, to be committed to me this entire time. If I didn't know my husband loved me, I know he loves me now. Point blank, period. So before you enter into a marriage or into a relationship, ask yourself, is this the man that's going to be with you when nobody else can be with you? Is this the man that's going to be with you, and will he be able to advocate for you, or will he be scared? There's so many people put trust in man. They put trust in doctors and nurses, and would not have said anything and would have allowed their wife to go through that because they're afraid, or they think, I don't have a doctorate degree, or I don't have a PhD. You got a Google degree. You got a Google.com.
What I got.
Practitioners, they're practicing. When they go in the back, baby, you better believe they're Googling, they're researching, trying to figure out your symptoms and what. Oh, it sounds like this is what she's going through. And with that in mind, I say all that to say you have to have the right person next to you.
Yeah.
First, God. When you have God, he's going to make sure your surroundings, your support system, my husband, my family, my friends, they came out, they prayed. I didn't even know that many people love me. It's sad sometimes that you have to go through something like that just to realize who's really in your corner.
Yeah.
Those who aspire to be married. Make sure it's God's connecting you to the one that really will go through when you are at your lowest of lows. Make sure that person is committed to God, committed to you, loyal to God, loyal to you. If they're not any of those things to God, they can't be any of those things to you. It's just that simple. A lot of people love the idea of being married, but that's it. Marshall was out of commission for a minute. He had a life-threatening situation that took place in December. I landed in the hospital. I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks because of severe asthma attack.
When I got her to the emergency room, she could barely walk because she was trying to catch her breath. Now, when they took her back, 15 minutes went by, 20 minutes went by. I hadn't heard anything, so I wanted to go back there. But the lady who had checked her in told me that I couldn't go back there yet. So evidently they knew something that I didn't know what was going on. Well, finally, about 35 minutes later, the ER nurse came in. And I was, okay, so what's going on? Can I go back there? She said, no. Nurse had told me she had COVID. She went into a cardiac arrest. And I was like, huh? What you mean? She said she had a cardiac arrest and we had to resuscitate her. I said, what? So as she was telling me, I'm like, what in the world? And then the next thing you know, she said, well, right now we have her on a breathing machine ventilator. So all of this had happened within 30 minutes. So evidently when she went in the back, the nurse told me, she said when she got back there, she had stopped breathing. So we had to put her on the table. We had the emergency to do CPR on her. We had to do everything to get her heart back pumping again because her heart had stopped. She was on the ventilator for like 11 days. She was knocked out. Had no idea what was going on, what had happened. She didn't wake up in between that time. From December the 1st all the way to December the 10th, she was like a vegetable. They had her on all kinds of medications and all of that because of the asthma. Her lungs was not operating functionally properly is the reason why they had to have her on a ventilator. And because she had went into a cardiac arrest, it caused her kidneys and her liver to almost shut down to the point where it was like almost 0% functioning. So they had to continue to try to, increase her oxygen so at least the machine will start breathing for her because she was not responding. So when she went into the cardiac arrest the second time, I saw her her heart rate. It was going up and then it went down. So the doctor was explaining to me that her heart was very weak. They was giving her so much medication. It really affected a lot of things in her body. It really, caused a lot of things in her body. It caused her kidneys almost shut down, as well as her liver almost shut down. So her bronchial tubes were closed up. So they was giving her all kinds of steroids to kind of get her bronchial tubes to open up. One of the nurses came in and gave her something called Decadron and gave her Benadryl. As soon as she gave her that medication, I started to see her heart rate kind of slow down. And I asked the nurse, I said, why is her heart slowing down now? I said, since you gave her that medication, I said, something ain't right. And I said, she wasn't doing that until you gave her that. I guess the doctor heard me, and the nurse was telling the respiratory nurse, okay, give it to me because I'm not getting no pulse. And as she was saying that, nothing but chills started coming to me, and I was getting afraid. I was like, what is going on? And then the next thing you know, the respiratory nurse said, yes, I'm giving it now. You should see it now. I guess he meant you should see the heart rate changing to a better condition verse than what it was. And she was like, no, give it to, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing no pulse. And the next thing you know, the emergency doctor came in. She said, Mr. Smith, can I please get you to step outside for a minute? So they kind of escorted me out, and I just stood there to the room, outside the room, but I stood there looking at them. And then he laid her back. When he laid her back, he started pumping on her chest, and then I lost it from there. I just start crying like crazy, and I was like, God, really, are you gonna do this? I said, you mean to tell me, are you really gonna do this? So you blessed my wife and I to come together, and then you blessed us. And I start questioning God. I start getting angry. I started getting mad and upset. At the same time, I was just crying like crazy, and then they were there trying to comfort me and say, Mr. Smith, God know what He's doing. I mean, some of them were praying for me. They were just praying for me right there, because they knew that was something that I would have never expected, that for her to go through something like that. We just celebrated her birthday Saturday. So, and then the next day this happened. So I was thinking on everything, how I'm going to tell Divine, how I'm going to tell her mother, how I'm going to tell everyone who love her. I'm all kind of things going through my mind. After I got myself together, after I, said, okay, God, got up out of the chair, walked back down, and it was one of the things where you just didn't know what was going to happen, based on her condition and how bad her condition was at the time. So I just felt something break through. I was like, okay, God, okay, thank you. It was like, okay, God, thank you. So I felt that she was going to get better, just didn't know when and didn't know how it was going to happen, or when it was going to, how it was going to transpire. After I left the hospital that night, I went home and I just started crying out to God. I said, what is wrong with my wife? I said, you know what's wrong with her. I don't know what's wrong with her. The doctor's saying it's this, but they don't even really know what is going on. And all I can hear is God saying, do your research on the medication they have her on. And immediately after I heard God's voice, I got up. This was like 2 a.m. I got up and I started doing my research on the medication, because I wrote down the medication they had her on, and it was a medication called prednisone. I ain't know nothing about no prednisone, but when I did my research on it and looked at the side effects of prednisone, I said, oh my goodness. I said, you gotta be kidding me. And they had a list of all the side effects that it does to a person's body. Couldn't wait to get there at 7 o'clock. The first thing when I got there at 7 o'clock that morning, I called the head nurse. I need to see the doctor. I need to see this doctor. I need to see that doctor. And I need to see that doctor. Well, Mr. Smith, they're going to do their rounds. What time they do their rounds? They do their rounds at so-and-so, 9 o'clock, something like that. I said, okay, let them know. Each and every one of them, I want to see them. And every last one of them that came in there, yes, Mrs. Smith, what's going on? Okay, I'm concerned about this. Y'all have her on this? Take her off of it. I say, you take her off right now. I say, do not put her normal. I don't want her to have normal prednisone. Do not give her normal dosage of prednisone. I looked up that doggone thing. It takes 72 hours for that mess to come out your system. 72 hours. It was like a Wednesday. It wasn't until Saturday that she started to be herself.
All right, you guys, we're getting ready to go because I'm getting hot. It's getting hot in here. For those who don't know, please, subscribe, hit that bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you are interested in the coaching, we do coaching sessions. If you're interested in the journals, go to theprocesslife.com. You can get everything, all your resources there. Those who want to email us info@theprocesslife.com. Love you guys. We miss you. And I'm so happy to be back.
I'm happy for her to be back too. Hallelujah.
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 Bye.
Much love, guys.